Good afternoon, everybody out there in Blab world. Brian Wallace, president and founder of NowSourcing, the South by Southwest Inside Track, 5th edition. We're here today with Sarah Snow. Maybe many of you guys have heard of her as Sarah Gide. She is an actual person. She's just not
it's a hologram.
Yeah, you're not a hologram. You're not just a host in the computer and all that. For those of you who use the popular video messaging app called Glide, I'm sure you've heard her, seen her, and we're really happy to have her today. I know you weren't feeling well for a bit, so really glad you're feeling better and with us today in this broadcast. So for those of you who are not familiar with what we talk about here, just to give you the setup before we get into introducing Sarah and everything that she's about and what she's planning for this year. So for those of you who haven't been to South by Southwest, which by now is a very famous interactive conference, it started out as more of a music conference. They've added film over the years. So a lot of people either give very lightweight vanilla advice where it's just like, oh, hey, drink a lot of water because it's a desert, and, you know, wear sneakers because you're going to walk a lot.
South by?
Yeah, it's South by. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
nice. But like everybody knows that already, dude, right? We got that by now. Yeah. We don't have to say the same thing 100 times in a row. And then the other South by Southwest goes out there and they say, hey, here's 4,000 things that are going on. And, you know, you might catch a famous celebrity or two that you like, but there's really not a lot of prioritization. There's a lot of things that are searchable now, and they've made technology better. But I felt to have a longer form video show that we've been doing every week where we bring on a number of different guests and we talk about our experiences at South by. We've had some people that have been there. So a few weeks ago we had Robert Scoble. Scoble's been going there for over a decade. He's been going longer than me. This is going to be I think it's the 7th year. You know, Sarah, what year is this for you?
This is just my second time. I went last year as an attendee, and then I came back and I was so inspired, and I was just like, okay, next year I'm going back as a speaker, and right. I made it happen.
Absolutely. So we want to talk about Sarah today and her journey through this. And Sarah, in the case of Glide, has tapped into an audience communicating with the deaf, which I think a lot of people on the internet overlook if you're not deaf yourself. So she's plugged in such a way, and that's also what you're going to be speaking about at South by, right? So if you could tell us a little bit about Glide and how this all came to be in terms of communicating with the deaf. I think it's fascinating.
Sure. So Glide is a video messenger, and I know a lot of people, they send videos through like WhatsApp or through regular texting, but what Glide has done is they made it really easy and really fast to be able to send a video to your friend. So instead of like recording a video on your phone and then uploading the video to the cloud and then sending it to your friend and then your friend having to download it, it's with one button, you're live streaming to your friends, and it's being saved to the cloud so you can watch it whenever you want. So we created this really easy way to communicate with asynchronous video, and the deaf community picked up on it because it's a way for them to visually communicate with their friends and family. Because English isn't their first language, so texting doesn't really do it. But being able to communicate with a video where they can see each other's signs, that's really powerful. So they picked it up, and I mean, we watched the community grow, and I started creating content in sign language, and I realized that there's not a lot of content online that's really available to the deaf and hard of hearing community because there's no closed captions, there's no one signing in them. So there's like all this content online that this huge community, I think it's over 10% of the US is either deaf or hard of hearing, they can enjoy it. So I'm going to go there as a professional to talk to other professionals in the industry, to different marketeers, and tell them about what we've done and encourage them to make their content more deaf friendly and more accessible.
That's outstanding. So this is something that just kind of naturally evolved, right? Much like Twitter and retweets, this is something the deaf community just picked up on it. You weren't specifically going after that. And then you learned ASL to communicate with them, right?
Yeah, when I found out that when I started getting messages from people saying that they couldn't understand my videos, I went straight out and I got an American Sign Language tutor to teach me sign language. And now that I think about it, most of the lessons that I had wasn't necessarily learning the different signs. it was learning about the deaf culture and really trying to understand who they are as people and, you know, what they like and, you know, how to start a conversation with that community, because they're a very close, like, tight-knit community. And whatever content we made as a company, I wanted to make sure that it was respectful and that they'd be able to really understand it. Because learning ASL is like learning any other language, like learning, you know, after learning French for a week, it's hard to go out there and make a video in a language that you don't necessarily speak. But I went out and I learned it and I put out my first video, and everyone and I told, like, in my videos I was very clear and I told everyone that I'm still learning and it's a process and I'm new to this, and everyone was like so warm and welcoming. So yeah, like it kind of blew up. And Glide wasn't necessarily, like, it wasn't ever made specifically for the deaf community, but they just gravitated towards it, and with the content we created, it solidified Glide as like the #1 communications tool for the community.
And that's phenomenal. I've been following a lot of your all's journey. You go to different cities, you visit different places, and I remember seeing a clip where you were talking about how other people who are deaf have to name you and give you a name. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I thought that was pretty fascinating.
Yeah. I just want to say hi to James because I saw that he's here. He's another friend of mine. So I just wanted to say hi to him. Thank you, James, for joining. Yeah, so that was also my first video was about that. When I first started learning sign language, at first I thought, like, I asked the teacher what the sign for Glide was, and she said that because it's a new software, there probably isn't a sign for it yet. And I was so excited. I was like, cool, let's come up with the sign, and then I'll put out a video telling everyone what the sign is. And then she was like, wait, hold on. People in the hearing community aren't supposed to create these new signs for the deaf community. The deaf community creates it. So my first video that I ever put out was actually asking the deaf community what the sign for Glide was. There was like a whole bunch of different ones, and then they ended up going with this. This is a G, and this is like gliding, so that's the name that got stuck. And I mean, and then I obviously after that they also gave me a name, Sarah. This is like because like of my eyes, and that really like that was like one of the coolest moments, getting my sign name. Yeah, so they're the ones that give names to the different, like if it's a person or if it's a new software or if it's a new object, they're the ones that give the name.
And that's pretty amazing when they figured out what to assign you as and give you an actual name. So it was like an official initiation into the tribe, which is much like the South by Southwest tribe. It may not be a uniquely deaf community, but so tell us, so what gave you the idea to kind of do that as a pitch to get in for South by Southwest as a speaker? And is it just you solo? Is it a panel? Maybe you could tell us when that is. And then I'd love to hear a little bit on what you plan to do at South by this year, because it's not your first year. So you've learned a lot and, you know, probably exhausting. Yeah. You're coming a long way for it. So I'm very curious to hear what you've got in mind this year too.
So this panel is, it's a panel. So I'm on there with one other person, Jules Dameron. She's a film director that lives in Hollywood, and she happens to be deaf. She really, when I first, like that first video that I've ever put out, she helped review it, and she's really been with us like every step of the way on this journey of communicating with the deaf community. And she's a huge advocate for the deaf community, especially deaf talent. And the panel is in the Hilton. I think it's in Salon H.
Yeah, as we're talking, I'm looking for a link, and I'll post it in this chat as well. Yep.
Yeah, it's on Monday, March 14th at 12:30 in the Hilton Salon H, I believe.
Okay, great.
And I mean, last year I was so inspired. Last year, actually, I made a video. I haven't put it out yet, but it talks a little bit about this.
Nice.
I went to a panel by a guy named Dave Werner who works for Adobe, and he just spoke about creating video content and how to make your video content stand out. And I mean, I went to a bunch of different panels there, and a lot of them they were like that was like the only panel that I really remembered, and it really inspired me. And after watching it, all I wanted to do was create more videos. And I tweeted at him and asked him if I can ask him a few more questions. And he said yes. And then I ended up sitting down with him. He's like, I watched some of your videos, just like keep doing what you're doing. And that's what I did. And that's sort of when I had the idea for like this year when I remember South by Southwest and I saw the panel picking process, I decided to submit a panel about something that I was really passionate about and something that I think is important. And then it just took off. The deaf community all chimed in and voted, and it was shared like 10,000 times. And now we're here. So I'm really excited.
I remember sharing that. It was going wild. I couldn't believe like how popular it was. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm so I didn't know, because I know like so many people submit panels for the panel picker, and like I was so like just honored by the feedback that I was getting for it. And then when we actually got picked, I was like in tears. I couldn't believe that we did it. But I mean, I'm excited.
Very cool. So aside from the panel, are you guys doing anything special for the event? Do you have anything planned? Anything that we should be on the lookout for? Any tips for the audience? Anything you want to kind of talk through over there? Yes.
So when we're there, I know that not everyone could attend the panel, especially the deaf community that lives in Austin. So I'm having a separate event on Monday night right after my panel at a restaurant called Crepe Crazy, which is actually a deaf-owned restaurant. And we're going to have like a block party that anyone could attend, and we're going to give out free merch and just hang out with our audience. I can attach an Eventbrite link to that as well.
Yeah, please do. And I just dropped the link, everybody, for Sarah's session. Definitely check that out. Again, that's going to be Monday the 14th at the Hilton Austin downtown. Don't get confused, because there's actually two Hiltons that are pretty close to each other. This is the one that's right by the convention center, and it's going on Monday the 14th from 12:30 to 1:30 Central Time. Hope you guys get a chance to do that. And yeah, definitely, Sarah, drop in a link to the other sign up. That I think people are going to be interested in that. It looks like you're getting a lot of questions from the audience asking when you're going out to LA. Care to?
Oh, yeah. No, I was on the page looking for the Eventbrite, but I think something is like pressing my keyboard because it keeps typing the letter A. So I'm going to check that out in a second. I'm going to be in LA March 23rd. No, March 19th. So in like a few weeks. I'm going after South by Southwest. I'm flying out to San Francisco and LA. So I was talking about that for a while.
That's great. So plenty of things to do. So anything else that you want to specifically see while you're out there in Austin? I know it's just so overwhelming.
Yeah, I really enjoy South by Southwest, and it's all about meeting people and really just testing. I know you said that like they give advice for like, bring water, bring sneakers, but I think that it's really just getting out there and talking to everyone that you meet, because you never know who you're going to bump into. The panel that I went to by chance. I just like saw something that like seemed a little interesting, and then I stopped by, and it was like the most amazing panel that I've ever been to. So it's really just about going and testing out different things. I'm definitely going to go to other panels. I haven't checked out the schedule that South by Southwest has yet, but I'm going to do that soon and start like scheduling different things for me. Are you going to be there also?
Yeah, that's part of why we're doing this series. I'm going to be there. Oh, looks like we are on audio only, Sarah, but can you still hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Not sure. Sometimes, blab data, so sometimes it's not perfect. But to answer your question, yes, we're going to be there in full force. This is going to be my 7th year going, and we've got a lot of different things going on. I'm getting in on Thursday the 10th, and I'm heading back out, I think, the following Thursday. So I'm going for all of Interactive, getting there a day early because we got a whole bunch of stuff at the trade show. We're actually unveiling something interesting on Sunday on stage, so that's going to be cool. And there's a bunch of different things we're doing in lounges and things like that. So I've got to kind of put out our itinerary to the world because we're definitely going to roll deep this year with a lot of stuff. There'll probably be about, I'd say about 6 or 8 of us out at a bunch of different pieces of it. And also, I just found your block party, Sarah, so I'm going to put that out. So that's out there for everybody to see. I'll just star those just in case you want to see those for later. And let's see. Yeah, some people from the audience are saying that they can see us both, so let's just keep on going. So yeah, I think, beyond like the sneakers and water approach, like if you had to distill a single piece of advice for people, what do you think you would tell them? That's a tough one. I could give you mine if you want to think about it a minute. So when people ask me, because wow, you've been going a long time, I tell them train like you're going to a marathon. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's just a trade show. I'm like, yeah, well, you'll see. Like, you're kind of expected to be alive day and night for just a week straight. So I say, look, just eat right and get in the gym and all that. If you're not used to being that active, it really helps a lot. And then people don't listen and then they pass out. But you can only give people.
I mean, I know that like Chaim, I went with him. He's also, I don't know how many years he's been going for. But he like, Chaim, do you ever sleep? Like he goes to everything. And I mean, like last year, I feel like there were so many more things that I wanted to go to. I just didn't get a chance. And this year, I'm going to like drink as much coffee as I need to. I don't want to miss out on anything. I'm just excited. Yeah, this is going to be his 7th year at South by Southwest. So he's a veteran.
Amount of time. I think I skipped 1 year in the middle of it, but this is going to be my 7th. It's not consecutive. I missed 1 year here and there. Hey, Chaim, do you want to jump on air at all? Anything you want to tell the crowd? We'll see if he wants to at all. But in the meantime, yeah, so what other, I think definitely drinking lots of coffee. I'd say any way that you can stay as close to the convention center, the better, because Austin has grown so much and they never really built up the infrastructure. So it is such a pain to try to get any kind of Uber or Lyft. Oh, even like a lot of the bicycles are like sold out. I mean, pedicabs, you got to wait in line for the
I didn't really like, when I was there, I felt like a lot of people like scared me into thinking that like you won't find a hotel, like you won't be able to find any cabs. When I was there last year, I mean, like I don't know, I felt like it was fine. Maybe I wasn't there like in the middle of everything, but I don't know, I felt like maybe they've improved over the years. That could be possible. And like I felt like last year when I was there, like I was able to get around and stuff. But like I felt also.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that like the things, like everything is pretty close to each other. So like, I mean, walking isn't that bad either.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with walking, guys. Do you remember how far away you were though?
I was like a couple blocks. Oh man, I wasn't that far away. I remember it took me like 10 minutes to get to like where all the convention centers were by foot. So it wasn't bad at all.
Okay, so it sounds like you lucked out and you were still relatively close. The point that everybody tells you, though, is if you don't register for a hotel at least reasonably a few months before, and if you're not speaking or whatever, because speaking actually locks in specific areas that they cut off to everybody else, so you can really get screwed and be all the way out at the airport. And then that's the kind of stuff that they're really talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean... Yeah, I guess I got lucky these 2 years. This year I'm staying in like the speakers block at the hotel, so which will be fun.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone there as a speaker, or do you go there as an attendee?
Oh yeah, so this is going to be my 7th year going, and I'm trying to actually let Chaim on, but it's saying that I locked it and now I can't unlock it. Gotta love beta.
This is a cool platform. I mean, I've never been on here before. I've been on a lot, which is, it's not really the same thing. It's not like, you could do like guest broadcasting, but Chaim's here. He became a co-host.
I just co-hosted him, so that will hopefully let him back on. Yeah, so I'm not speaking this year. I'm sort of speaking this year because I'm doing some sort of trade show pitch, something or other. But the previous 3 years I was speaking, and yeah, it's the two great perks of speaking is one, they give you a badge for free, which is nice, and the whole thing, the hotels. So you'll get a better hotel usually that's locked out from everybody else. And I'm able to come on now. I'm trying to let you on, and every time I try to unlock it, it's not working. But I did just make you a co-host, so that should let you do it. If not, like I said, welcome to beta. I can attempt to restart the session, but when I tried that in a previous call, it actually closed the whole show, and I want to close the show, so let's not do that. Let's just keep on going. If you have any points you want to say, because I think you and I are equal veterans of 7 years now, anything that you want to tell people. I know that in the past, Chaim actually made, I think it was like a Pinterest board or something where he just kind of had like, here's like his like survival kit with all sorts of like food and little gadgets and stuff like that. I'm wearing a vest that I'm going to bring. This is by a company called Scotty Vest, and you can fit like an entire like Generation 2 iPad in it because it's got like these enormous pockets. I think anything that you can do like that is really
I mean, if anyone sees me, maybe I shouldn't say this, but like if anyone sees me there, I'm gonna have like portable Glide battery packs on hand that I give out to some people. So if you see me, I'll give you one. But those are like, what?
Do you have any handy so we can see what it looks like?
Yeah, I actually do. 1 second.
Bring it on. Yeah, and guys, swag is a wonderful part of South by Southwest. A lot of times, the United States Postal Service will have a booth in the trade show, and they will allow you to take an entire mailer box and just stick all your stuff and just mail it home or to your office. So, you know, a lot of people get like really weighed down, carry everything, and then go party. Sarah, I was just talking about how in recent years, the United States Postal Service has a booth that allows you to ship all your swag home, which is really cool instead of carrying it around all day.
Check it out.
Let's see.
This is one side, and then the other side says keep the conversation going. And what's cool is that like you have this thing which can charge like an Android phone, and then if you like plug it in, it turns into like an iPhone converter. So you can charge like your iPhone or Android with it, and it will do like a full charge, and you can always like recharge it with like a micro USB. So I'll have like a bunch of these in my bag.
Those are pretty sweet, and they look like they're really thin, and they just can fit in your shirt pocket or whatever.
Yeah, like when you plug them in, you can just like hold it in your hand, and then it's sort of like you can barely feel it, so it's like it's really comfortable.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, whenever like I fly, they also don't weigh almost anything. Sounds like an infomercial. But like I put like tons of these in my suitcase. So
I mean, just power is such a necessity at a place like South by because there aren't a lot of power outlets, and everything you're doing, like if you're using the South by Southwest mobile app, everything is just draining power out of your mobile devices like crazy. So everybody should hit up Sarah for as many batteries as you can get and bring your own too, because you're going to just run out of power all the time because you never stop and recharge, right? You're just going and going. You're going to panels and sessions and trade shows, and then you go out to all these parties. So you're not sitting there plugging all this stuff in. So definitely this is a great little piece of swag. So smart stuff, guys. I like that. Very good.
Yeah, no, it's great. I like bring these everywhere and leave them out at like the parties and stuff. Is there any cool parties that you're going to be at this year that I should know about?
Absolutely. So I have to look at all the different ones. I know that National Geographic, I think, has one on Friday, and then there's two on Sunday that I know I want to go to, but I think they're at the same time. So Robert Scoble, who's a very famous person that does everything about like future tech and stuff like that. He's really hot on augmented reality and virtual reality this year. So I know he's doing a thing. Then also the IEEE, which is like the Internet Engineering Association. So like without them, we wouldn't have had like Wi-Fi and Ethernet and stuff like that. They design all the protocols. They're having this ridiculous party also on Sunday, and they're doing something fascinating. So have you ever heard of Nolan Bushnell? You might not have heard the name, but you've heard of what he's done. This is the guy who he's invented Atari, and then I guess he got bored, and then he invented Chuck E. Cheese. And now his son, yeah, right? I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? But so now his son and his family have a company called, I think it's called the 2-Bit Arcade, where they do all these crazy like experiential parties, where it's almost like Midway meets tech and engineering. Imagine playing, remember like old school Asteroids? Instead of sitting there playing with like a crappy game console, like you sit in a chair and you're the little ship that shoots all the asteroids and stuff. So they just have all these crazy party games and stuff. So I definitely would recommend that one. I know there's some other ones, but I'm just like frantically getting ready for South by Southwest Road. So yeah. How about you? Have you looked at parties that looked pretty cool?
I haven't really taken a look yet. I'm trying to figure that out now. So you can send me like a list or send me a link to like some of the parties that you just spoke about. That'd be great, because like I'm looking for like cool things to attend there. I've been like so focused on my panel and like just making it the best that it can be that I've like barely explored the other things that are happening there. I'm gonna be there. I get there on Thursday evening, and then I fly out on Tuesday. So I'm there for like a good amount of time. So I'm going to be practicing for my panel a lot. But.
I'm pretty sure I just found the iTree one. Sorry, can't hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay, cool.
So here's...
I have some videos I need to put out.
Maybe I'll see you at South by, Sarah. I'll follow you.
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah, Paul, we'd love to meet you.
Yeah, great. Follow me on Twitter, SpringNet, and maybe we'll hook up at South by. I'll send you some. I know a ton of deaf people in Austin.
Really appreciate it. I'll connect with you, and I'll send you something you can share with them.
Great. Are you guys going to exhibit at the trade show also?
We'll be walking around at the trade show, but Sarah's got her panel on Monday, so we don't have a physical booth at the show.
Okay, great. Well, listen, I'll jump out and I'll see you at South by. Take care.
Sounds like a plan.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Sarah.